Hi guys, I am Trilokesh. Now let's go to the basic syntax of the Python. Syntax is nothing but the grammar of English. Similarly, syntaxes are the grammar of the rules and the words of Python. So first of all, let us discuss about variables. Variables are nothing but the names that you give to the computer's memory location. Like um, computer will save all our files in a hard disk, and in hard disk there are some small data is stored in 0 and 1. So 0 or 1 is stored in a small part of hard disk, which is there are registers, and these registers and the zeros or ones are stored in a location, and this location has an address. So these variables are the names where uh, the memory location where we store our data, like we store our files in a specific folder, right? So similarly, computer will store some values in a certain location, and the address of that location, for that address of address for that address will be giving a name. So if we save something in that location, we can we can go to that location and see what is in that location using the name, and that name is called variable. So let's say there is an this box represent the computer's memory location, and which has a name x. So we can put 500.67 in that box. It's like putting 500.67 in that memory location. And you can also put hello. Like you can change the value in that location. You can make it hello, or you can make it eight also. Like you can change it with anything in that later point. Open your browser and search for colab, and the first result in the Google is our Google Colab. And these are like some of my Python files, which are actually Python notebook. This notebook means let's open it. Yeah, this is a Python notebook, and these are the cells where you can write your Python code basically, and you can also create new cells. You can create as many you wish. And you can also add text, like if you want to know, like if you made some program about something, that's something you can write here, something, and you can add up in the code and do your code thing here. Let's take the same example. Store 500.67 in X, and there is an inbuilt this function, like this is called print. Like we'll talk about functions later, but this print, what it does is like it will go to this location. Like x is the name of location, right? Variable is the name of location, so it will go to the location of where whose name is x, and it will print the contents in that location onto our screen, which is nothing but in the, like you can see it in laptop. Like let's run it. In Colab you can press shift plus enter, uh, like simultaneously, like uh, uh, then it will move to the next cell and run this code. Actually it is taking time because initially it will connect to the servers of Google, and there actually the code runs, and just we are seeing the output, which is which actually processed there. Yeah, now let us change x as 8. Let's say 8, and then print it x, and then let's change it to 95, and then let's print this also. See, we can, like this print will after printing it, it will use a line actually. So like let's run it. Yeah, first x is 8, so we got a 8 here, and then we change the value at that location whose name is x into 95, and then when we try to print the content at that location, then we got 95. I guess you got it. And that's about variables. You guys have fun with variables. Create some variables, like create some variable with your name and store something you want in it, modify it, have some fun. You learn Python by doing it, so you can't like you do like you listen and you can't learn Python in a day. Like with practice you get it. I'm even not an expert, like I'm even learning it, but I'm good in it, basics actually. Okay, let's go back to PPT again. Now next is identifiers, and variables is also kind of identifier. Like identifier is nothing but the names you give to memory locations, which may be just variables, or like there are some things like functions, classes, which we'll be learning in the later sessions. Like these, whatever you manually name, those comes under identifiers. And identifiers, while naming, like there are certain rules for naming them. That you must start with a letter or underscore. You can't start with a number. And the name should contain only alphabets or numbers and underscore. That's it. No other special characters should be used. And variable names are case sensitive. That means hello world and like hello world, which is all small letters, and hello world with any of the letter capital are not the same. Capital H and small h are not same in Python. And Python has a set of keywords that are reserved. Like you cannot use those reserved words for naming, because Python confuses. Like there are some reserved words like false, true, which are actually Boolean, and the Boolean true and false starts with capital letter like capital T, RUE, capital F, ALSE. So these words you cannot use for name variables or functions like that. Okay, let's have a hands-on on this also. I just named it as identifiers. Okay, let's name it with a number. Shift plus enter. Yeah, we got an error. We cannot save in a variable which is started with a number. So let's remove it and let's recompile it. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. You cannot start with a number, but you can start with a letter. You can also start with a underscore. It's perfectly fine. And you should not use any special characters. You'll get an error. You can't assign to the operator because in this like this has a special character which is against the rules of Python. So it just don't assign the value of 33 to it. And some like let's true is a Python reserved key, and collab is like it shows the reserved key in this blue color, as you can see when I type FLC, then it turns in the blue color. And you cannot assign something like 5 to the Python reserved key false. Okay, and these are some rules. Like you should make sure that the name you gave should be starting with a number or underscore, and it should not contain any special characters, and it should not be any of the reserved keyboard of Python. That's it. You can name many things like you, like these are only small things like not starting with a number. So you name the like you will give it a name so that you just it will be easy for you to remember what it is, what you stored in it. In that way, we name the variable or the identifiers. Let's go back to PPT again. The next is strings. This is actually other kind of data type. I guess you guys know this ASCII values. Here, hi Manu, which we wrote here, is not actually stored as letters, right? Anyhow, zeros and one it will be storing. So it just knows numbers. So these letters have a spread particular numbers. Like ASCII will be like of this kind. Like yeah, as you can see, for every character, like A as a ASCII value of 65, which will be again converted into zeros and ones. If you know, like we can convert 65 into binary language by division. You can just you can see the conversion how it takes in YouTube, and this is saved actually in our computer. So every line of text you write, it will be saved. It will be converted into ASCII, and then it will be saved in our computer. Look, hard disk. So so when you like storing a string, then you should tell the computer that it is a string. So what you do is you will add a single quoted or double quotation marks, and you will write the string in between them. And there are some you cannot use one single quote and the other side you cannot use double quotation mark. So you should be like either using single quotation or double quotation. And there are triple quotation, like you can use three quotations, three single quotation marks, uh, opening and closing, and write the text within it. Like it does is you can write how many, like you can go to next line and you can write, and then you can go to the next line and just end it anywhere. But unlike if you use a single quotation, you have to end it in the same line. So let's go to colab again. So now let's say use something like in A, let's say a string hello world, which many like hello world is very famous actually. Everyone will start with this in C language, almost in every language. And let's print it. Yeah, we got it. Hello world. Let's use double quotation marks. You can directly print. Yeah, we got the same. But you cannot use a single quotation marks and a double quotation marks. Here we, since we used a single quotation marks and a double quotation marks here, we got an error, which is quite natural. Like then, yeah, triple quotation marks. let's print b. Yeah, as you can see, this like triple quotation marks, whatever you write, it will print in the same order. Like this is in the first line, prints the text in the second line, in the same way, right, in the third line. I guess you got it. Let's see some string operations, like print a plus b. What is a and what is b? A is hello world, and okay, b is this prints the text in the same way. So I expect uh, hello world, and without any space, this will be starting, like, and then the next line print, yeah, like this, hello world without any space, this, and like it's just adds hello world to this thing. So when you add a space in a, and when you rerun it, yeah, you will get a space because we added space in a. It just like attaches the second like b to a. That's it. Let's see one more like thing. A into 3, what it does is hello world, like we also give hello space world space, so this sequence will be repeated for 3 times. As we know, a plus a plus a is also like a into 3. We just did the same. We cannot subtract, and we cannot even divide. And in Python there are some special codes starting with backslash, like backslash n. Let's first discuss about backslash t, and then you type something. This gives a space before. As you can see, before this, it is giving a space. And so there are some cases where you will be using apostrophe, like this is Ajay's car. And this you cannot like print or save in some variable, because this like there is a double single quotation mark here and here and here. So like to avoid this, you can like add a backslash before the apostrophe and just press shift plus enter, and this works fine. Or else you can also print the same, like use double quotation mark and use apostrophe as you normally. Then it works fine actually. There is a one more like there are many things, many special codes actually, like backslash n will leave a line after the above line. If no line above, it will leave a empty line. As you can see, there is a one line space between these two lines. Like play with strings and you will find errors, and from which we can like we will learn why we got an error, and like that we can practice, like you can practice. Let's go back to ppt again. Input is another inbuilt function which actually takes input from the user. Since you are using your laptop, you are the user, and in websites and like where python you can make websites, right, using Django. There like you need the input from the user who is using your website actually. So there's an inbuilt function called input where you can ask the user to enter something, and then it will be saved in our variable x, which we can use. And like this input will take the input from the user, and this it takes input in string format. If I give an input as 85, this is not a number 85, this is string 85. So you cannot add 85 plus string 85 plus number 90, right? You can add a string 85 plus a string 90, which actually doesn't give you 175. Instead it gives 80, 8590. So let's look that in our collab. And we already know the print function, which is actually inbuilt function, which actually prints the content in the in like here. Enter number is a content, and it leaves us like comma actually leaves a space between this uh, internal numbers and the content at this location. So let's look this in collab. Let's define a variable name, and which takes input your name, it will take as input. And then let's use this like this name, like we'll add this to hi. Name is already in the string format, so no need to convert, like it's in string format, so we can directly add the string to the string. So let's press shift and press enter, and it will ask you to input. Let's give your name, then press shift press enter. Yeah, as you can see, it prints hi through location. And like print, like if you want to print two things, you can use comma. This will add a space actually. As you can see, hi space, this adds a space. Unlike plus, which basically directly attaches a second thing. As you can see here, hi, and this doesn't have any space here. So here, since we are giving a space, like we can remove the space and add a comma. It's gives the same result. Yeah, this is about inbuilt function. Let's go to the PPT again. Casting, like see, as we are getting a string form, like the inbuilt function will give us a string format, and it will be saving the input from the user in a string format in the variable. We cannot add we cannot add the strings like numbers. So sometimes we require numbers instead of strings. So at that time we can actually we can use typecasting. Like what it does is it will convert the string into an integer. Like it cannot convert 5 which is a string into an integer, but it can convert the 5, which is 5 in string format, which is actually it is stored in computer as ASCII value. So it will convert that into a number 5, so we can add it to another number. So let's go to collab again. Let's take a salary as input, and then bonus for that month also as an input. calculate the total income. You cannot use a space here since like we have to name with only alphanumerical and underscore. So total income will be salary plus bonus, and let's print the total income. Like my salary, let it be 14,000, and bonus let it be 6,000, and try to guess what it will be by pausing this video. Since these two are strings, like salary is a string, bonus is a string, when we add those strings, you will be getting just like the second one will be attached to the first one. So you'll be getting 14,000 again 6,000. Like it is a way less than 20,000. 14,000 plus 6,000 is 20,000. Right? So for this problem, what we do is we will like convert salary into integer by like int of salary will actually give a integer form of salary and which we stored in SLRI, and BNUS let it be bonus, and int of bonus let us save it in BNUS, and actual total equals to SLRY plus BNUS. It is auto suggesting me, but BNUS is also there. And let's print actual amount. So it's 20,000 as you can see here. You can also directly take like string cast here itself. So you can also typecast an integer to string. For example, let a equals to 5. Let's say b, where we typecast string, so that is a into a string, and when we print a comma b, this comma leaves a space. So when we run it, we got 5 space 5, but the first 5 is of a, but those two 5s are not the same, like not the same data type. A is actually an integer, but since we typecast the a as a string, so b is a string. So if you want to know which type of data it is, you can use the inbuilt function called type of, and you can give the input as a variable of which you want to find the type. As you can see, this code will print the type of a. So let's run it. So as you can see here, we got a as an integer data type. Similarly, we can find type of b. Can expect it, since we here we have typecasted it, it will be a string. Yeah, it's a string. This is the end of this session. From now on, my friends Amiral and Eren will be taking. Thanks for listening and have a great day.